we are going to be crocheting the scaredy cat. If you haven't seen and want to crochet the candy corn, just go ahead to the last video, which was Tuesday. This is going to be aired on Thursday. And then next Tuesday is going to be the Ghost with a Top Hat, if you want to keep an eye out for that and crochet that. So today is the scaredy cat. Let's go ahead and crochet him. Hi, I'm Darlene and this is Heartfelt Crochets. And on this channel is where I research, I study, I share, and I teach all things crochet. So at the end of this video, if you have found it to be helpful or you have at least enjoyed it in some way, then please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Okay, so I had started a tutorial using the black yarn, and that was a big mistake for a tutorial because you cannot see the stitches. So for the sakes of this tutorial, so that we can see the stitches, I am going to be using yellow yarn. This is Premier Parfait Chunky Chenille yarn, and this yellow, you'll be able to see the stitches as we go ahead. Okay, so with that being said, we need this. And then for the scarf, I am still going to use the Parfait Chunky Chenille yarn in the color Mango. And then we are going to use Red Heart Super Saver worsted yarn in the color White. Okay, and that is for the whiskers. We are going to be making the plushie, not the worsted cat today. So we need 22mm safety eyes and backings. And then we need a 16mm nose and the backing for that as well. You are going to need a pair of scissors for at the end. You're going to need a stitch marker, and we are using a 4mm hook today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and see how easy it is to find. Nope, that's the outside. We don't want to use the outside on this end. So we're just going to reach in and we're going to grab and hope that we don't have a whole bunch of yarn barf. Yep, and that was wishful thinking. Yep. All right, so I'm not going to make you watch that, so I'll be right back. Okay. So this pattern works. Oh yeah, I forgot to also tell you that we're going to need some Poly-fil stuffing too. So how this pattern works is it's a no-sew pattern. So we're working from the bottom up. Instead of the head down, we're working from the bottom up. So we are going to begin with a magic ring. So yarn over these two, bring it back up and cross it over. Hook under the first front strand, grab the back, twist, grab that tail and pull it through. Now a little trick that I like to do so that we don't end up having an issue with tightening the magic ring with chenille yarn is pull it through ahead of time. Okay. Now we are going to single crochet 6 inside this magic ring, and we are going to hold on to this around the ring as we go. So this is 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, and 6. And then we are going to single crochet in the very first stitch. That's our first stitch of the next round, and we're going to place our stitch marker in that stitch. Now we're going to pull that tail and we're going to give it a quick tug. So quick that we broke it right off, but it did pull it together. Okay, I didn't mean to break it though. Okay, sometimes if you pull it slow, you end up having a problem. Okay, so now we are going to single crochet in this same stitch, and that's an increase. Okay, we just single crochet 2 in the same stitch and we increased. Now we are going to do the same thing in the next 5 stitches. So in this next stitch, single crochet, and in that same stitch, another single crochet. We just increased again. And do that again. 2 single crochets in that space. 2 single crochets in this next space. Stitch, next stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets in that last stitch. Now let's go ahead and give it a count. We should have 6 of those increases. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Now we're going to remove that stitch marker, and we are going to single crochet in this first stitch and replace our stitch marker. And then we are going to increase, so 2 single crochets in this next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next, and then a 2 single crochet increase in the next, and we're going to continue that around. So 1 single crochet in this next stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then 1, and then 2 in the next, and then 1, and 2 in the next, and then 1, and then 2 in the last stitch. Okay, so that completed round 3. Now for round 4, remove your stitch marker, and we are going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches and place your stitch marker in that first stitch that you made, and then increase, so 2 single crochets in that next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet increase in the next stitch, and we are just going to repeat that until we reach our stitch marker. Okay, so it's 1 single crochet in the next 2, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and continue that sequence. If I'm going too fast, you can always just pause it or slow the video down, and then increase in the last stitch. Okay, and then we're going to repeat that, only this next round is going to be a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So let's put our stitch marker back in that first stitch, and then 1 and 2. So that's a single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then a 2 single crochet increase in the next stitch. And repeat that all the way around until you reach your stitch marker, and I will meet you back here when you're done. Okay, so I'm at the last stitch, so it's a 2 single crochet increase in that stitch. Now for round 6, we are going to single crochet 11. So 1, and then put our stitch marker back in there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And now we are going to bobble. So if you've never made a bobble before, it is yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And then do that again in the same stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook in the same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now you have 4 loops on the hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 of those loops. Okay, so now we're going to single crochet 6. So when you single crochet into the next stitch, it is going to cause that bobble to pop out. Okay, so that's 1 single crochet, and then that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we want to bobble again in the next stitch. Pull through all 4 loops on the hook, and then we're going to single crochet in the last 11 stitches. So that will pop that out. That's 1, and then 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So that completes round 6. Now for round 7 through 9, you are going to just single crochet around, and you should have 30 single crochets. All right, so I'll do this first round with you. Make sure that we have 30. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now when you get to the bobble, just kind of like make sure that you see behind it that you have 2 here. Okay. So what did I just count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this will be 12. And then that's 13. And then 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Very good. Okay, so continue that for the next 2 rounds, for rounds 8 and 9, and that's 30 single crochets around, and I will meet you back at the end of round 9. 10, we are going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, place your stitch marker in the first one as usual, and there's 2 and 3. Now we are going to decrease The invisible decrease in the front loop only. So grab your front loop and grab your front loop of the next stitch. Yarn over and pull through those 2 front loops. Yarn over and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. That's an invisible decrease. Okay, so now we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And then invisible decrease. And then single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And an invisible decrease. Whoops. Okay. So now we're going to crochet another bobble in this next stitch. And then single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Push out that bobble. That's 2 and 3. And then crochet another bobble in the next stitch. And pull through all 4. And then we are going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And decrease. And then single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And then in the last 2 stitches is a decrease. And that completes round 10. Now for round 11, we are going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. That's 1, and then 2, and we're going to decrease. Invisible decrease, and then you're going to repeat that 5 more times. Single crochet in the next 2, invisible decrease, and again, and then 1 and 2, and decrease, and 1 and 2, decrease, and the last decrease. And that leaves 1 last stitch, and I'm going to place a single crochet in there. Okay, now for round 12, we are going to 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and decrease, one single crochet in the next stitch, and then decrease, and repeat that 4 more times. Okay, one more time. And then single crochet in that last stitch. Okay, now so for row 13 and 14, you're just going to single crochet 13 around. So there's one. Come on. Two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And then you're going to do that again for one more row. And I'll meet you at the end of this row. Okay, so now we are going to start increasing again because we are working into the head. Okay, so for this next round, which is round 15, we're going to single crochet in the next stitch and put our stitch marker back in there. And then we're going to single crochet 2 in this next stitch. And we're going to do that 5 more times. So single crochet in the next stitch, 2, single crochet in the next, single crochet in the next, and 2 single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, and 2 single crochet in the next, and again, and again, and then in this last stitch, just 1 single crochet. Now for round 16, we are going to do the same thing, only we are single crocheting in 2 stitches. Put your stitch marker in that first one. And then increase with 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then a 2 single crochet increase in the next stitch, and repeat that until you have reached your stitch marker. Okay, that's the last increase, and then a single crochet in the last stitch. Now for row 17, we're going to do the same thing, only single crochet in 3 stitches. Replace your stitch marker in the first one, increase, single crochet in the next 3, and increase in the next, and repeat that until you get to the end of this round. Okay, and then increase, and then single crochet in, oops, single crochet in the last stitch. Now for round 18, we're doing the same thing again, only single crochet 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put our stitch marker back in that first one so we don't forget. 1, 2, 3, 4 right here into this first one, and then increase, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4, and increase, and repeat that, and I will meet you back here. And then again, single crochet in the last stitch. Okay, so for row 19, 20, 21, and 22, for the next 4 rows, you are going to single crochet 37 around. I'll do the first one with you to make sure that we have 37. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I won't count all the way around. Not out loud anyway. Is 15. $25. 30, 31, 2, 3, 35. Oop. I think I miscounted as I was going, so let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. Okay. So now repeat that for the next 3 rounds, and then I'll meet you back here. All right, so we just completed round 22. Now for round 23, we are going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches. Two, 3, and 4, and then we are going to do that invincible decrease again. And then single crochet in the next 4 stitches and decrease, and repeat the same thing, single crochet in the next 4 stitches, decrease, again, decrease, and one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease, and then, whoop, come single crochet in that last stitch. Okay, so my camera had died on me and I continued putting my safety eyes in, and I already put the backings on, so I can't take them off now. So what you want to do is you want to place your safety eyes in between rows 21 and 22, okay? And then you're going to put your backings on, and then you are going to put your safety nose in, and that goes in between rows 18 and 19. And I noticed the backing I had didn't fit on here and I couldn't find one, so you would just go ahead and you would put your backing on your nose to secure it. And what I'm going to do is I am going to glue mine, so that is also an option. So here I have some fabric glue. And I am just going to put some right around this tip. And place it between rows 18 and 19, center between the eyes, and then just press and hold it for a minute so that it adheres to the material, and wait for it to dry. Now we are going to continue with round 24. And we are going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So a single crochet, and then I'm going to put my stitch marker back in that stitch, and then single crochet in the next 2. And then we are going to decrease. And we're going to do this for a total of 6 times. So 5 more times we are going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And decrease and continue that until you reach the end, and then we're just going to have 1 single crochet left at the end. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so we're at the last decrease, and then 1 single crochet in the last stitch. And for round 25, we are going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And decrease. And you are going to continue that around with just a single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then a decrease. And again, continue that, and I will meet you at the other end. Okay, so I just did my last decrease, and we're going to single crochet in that last stitch. Now for round 26, we're going to do the same thing, only 1 single crochet in the first stitch here, and then decrease. And don't forget that we are doing invisible decreases. Okay, so then single crochet in the next stitch, and then decrease. And then 1, and decrease, and continue that to the end. Okay, so 1 and decrease. See that little fruit fly? I have some apples in the kitchen. Whoops, hold on. that I'm going to be making an apple crisp with, and the fruit flies are liking those apples. Okay, and then single crochet in the last stitch. So now we are going to want to stuff our cat really good. Okay, so let's grab our stuffing. And let's just break it up a little bit so it's not quite so lumpy. You can do this right after you put your eyes in if you wish, so you don't have such a small hole to deal with. And you just continue pushing it in all the way to the bottom. And I'm just going to continue stuffing this cat, and I will meet you back when I'm done. So you just continue stuffing, pushing it down the bottom till you get it fairly firm, and then up through the neck and into the head. And I will meet you back when I'm done stuffing. Okay, so I just stuffed mine pretty good. Now you can have it as soft as you want or as solid as you want. This black one is nice and soft and gushy. This one I went a little bit more solid with it, and I'm going to place it inside my Halloween wreath on my door. Okay, so now we want to cinch this closed. Okay, so we want to leave a little bit of a tail here, and we're going to give that a snip. And the one thing that I didn't say that you were going to need at the beginning of this tutorial was a yarn needle. So let me grab a yarn needle, and we are going to thread this. And I think I can fit just a little bit more. I have a little bit of a space here. I think I can fit just a little bit more in that space. I don't want it to be kind of loose on the very top of the head. Just kind of tuck it in around. A little bit of a space right here. Okay, so that's better. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to remove our stitch marker. This is our very first stitch right here. Okay. And we are just going to weave through the front loop only. Okay, so pull that through and then through the front loop. And you are going to do that all the way around till you reach this point here. So this is going to be this last one. So you can place your finger there if you want to, or you can place your stitch marker there knowing that that is where you're going to end. All right, so just go ahead and sew that around in the front loop only. Oh, okay. And one more. Okay. And then what you're going to do is just going to pull that tight. Don't pull too hard like I did at the very beginning, because you don't want that to break. We're going to secure it. Going to just insert our hook, our sewing needle, and come out the back side of the head. and then maybe go just the opposite direction, and then do that again. We'll go over here and come up the top again, and that secured that really good, so it's all entwined through here, so that isn't going to come apart. Okay, if you pulled a little too tight, just pop it back out a little bit, and then give that a little bit of a tug and a snip. Okay, so now what we're going to do, let me get rid of this stuffing here. Next we're going to be working on the ears. Okay. All right, so now we are going to crochet the ears, and we are going to count 2 rows above the eyes, so 1, 2, and we're going to go about center to this top part of the head and insert your hook under that stitch. Then we're going to put the yarn over our hook and we're going to pull it through, and then yarn over and pull it through. So we slip stitched underneath that stitch. Okay, so now what we're going to do is chain 2. In this next stitch, we are going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff in that next stitch. First, we're going to half double crochet, double crochet, treble crochet, double crochet, and half double crochet, all in this next stitch here. Okay, so let's start with the half double crochet. Yarn over and insert your hook under that stitch. Pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3. Now a double crochet, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, a treble, yarn over twice, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then a double, and then a half double, chain 2. Now we are going to go into this next stitch right here and slip stitch. Okay, and then cut your yarn and pull that through, and there is your first little ear. Now you're going to want to thread your yarn needle and we are just going to poke that down through and come out the back side of the head, and then you're going to do the same with this one. Come on. Poke it down through. You can come out the same spot if you want, or a different spot, it doesn't matter. We're just securing that end. And then give that a snip. And there is your first ear. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side, only we're going to be starting at the top and working our way down. So you are going to insert your hook underneath this first stitch here. Come on. There we go. And pull our yarn through. And then pulling it through. Okay, now we're going to chain 2. And in this next stitch right here, I'm going to make sure that they're even. So this next stitch right here is where we're going to half double crochet. Can be a little tricky. Come on, get through there. And then double crochet. Treble crochet. Double crochet. Now remember, it's all in the same stitch. Half double crochet. Chain 2. And then in this next stitch, we're going to slip stitch. And cut that yarn and pull through. That is so cute. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. And tuck that in. Go through the back anywhere. That is so cute. And then cut that yarn. And there are the little ears. Okay. Now we are going to crochet the tail. We are going to join the yarn with a slip stitch to the bottom of the cat about 2 inches from the center. Okay, so we can go right, I'd say about here. And we're going to insert our hook. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing and pull our yarn through and then pull, whoop, get that tail out of the way. Okay, now you are just going to create a chain for as long as the tail that you want. All right, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I went ahead and I chained 20. Now you want to single crochet down the chain. So you're going to skip this first one. You're going to go into this next one and single crochet and single crochet in each chain stitch all the way down to the beginning where you joined. Alright, so I am down to the last chain stitch, so I'm going to single crochet. And then I'm going to go over 2 stitches. Oh, go into the, come on. And slip stitch. Goodness. Okay, and then I'm gonna, where's my scissors? Cut that yarn and pull that through. Now this time I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give it a little knot. Just to give it a little bit extra security. Okay. And okay, then cut them so they're even. And where they're a little short, just go ahead and insert your hook first and come out anywhere. And then go ahead and thread your needle. You can do both at one time if you want, or just one. These little funny fuzzy ends make it difficult to thread the needle. Okay. And then you're just going to give it a quick pull. Okay. And cut those ends. And there is your cute little tail. It wraps around the front if you want it to. Okay. Now we are going to do some whiskers. So grab your white yarn. Yarn barf. Oh, this is just wonderful. My morning is going great. How about yours? All right. What in the world? So just a good long piece. And okay. We are going to come in at an angle from the side of the head and come up right center as close as we can to that nose. Then we are going to measure approximately, however long that you wish your whisker to be. You can start this way if you wish. I think I'll start this way. So I'm going to go right about here, insert your needle and come back up in the same spot. And then we are going to go just a little bit, not quite as long as this first whisker, so right about here. And come up the same space, same place. Oh, it kind of went under the yarn, in between split the yarn a little bit, so be careful of that. And then we are going to go just about the same position. Okay. And now we want you know what, I'm not liking I'm going to thread our needle. If you fold it, it can make it easier to thread. So we're going to start the side of the head here somewhere, and we are going to come up the center of the nose. And we're going to leave a little bit of a tail here. And then I'm going to come to probably, I'd say 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches back. And come up center. Oops, sorry. And And then I'm going to come up a little bit higher, about 1 stitch back further, and come out the same spot. All right, and then I'm going to come back here and go back just 1 further. Oh no, about the same spot as the center whisker. And then down below, about the same. Yeah. And then we are going to come in and come over 1, 2, 3, 4, right about here, 4. And come in center and come out 1 further back. And then come in about the same spot down below. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You can scatter these however you wish. So this needs to actually oh, see, it didn't. Okay, so I'm going to pull that one out. So if you don't like where it went, you can just pull it out and do it again until you get it just the way you want it to be. Okay. So I want to come up just a little bit further here. And then come down back into the center. There, that brought that whisker back just a little bit, so that looks better. And then center and back here. And then we're going to come back in the center and we're going to turn and come out this same spot as we initially started. And there are our whiskers. Now you could go black whiskers if you wanted to, which probably would end up looking better on this yellow cat. All right, so we're going to tie this in a knot. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And then we're going to thread our needle. Let's cut those so that they're more even. And come out anywhere. And give those a snip. And that is our whiskers. Now I went ahead and I tried them in black and I didn't like it at all. It did not look good, in my opinion. So now, last but not least, we are going to crochet the little scarf for this kitty. All right, so we're going to use the mango yarn. Okay, for the scarf we are going to chain 60. So we're going to begin with a slip knot, do my hook, and we're going to chain 60, 59 and 60. And then you're simply just going to single crochet down all of the chain stitches. And then you're going to cut your yarn and make a little knot at the end. So go ahead and single crochet starting from the second stitch from the hook and single crochet all the way down the chain and I will meet you back here when you're done. Okay, so I finished my single crochets all the way down to the end. I cut my yarn and made a knot and just cut the yarns off, and then that's a very, very simple scarf. Now if you want to, you can go ahead and you can make a couple of little tassels to put on the end of the scarves, but I choose not to for this scaredy cat. So then you would just go ahead and wrap the scarf around his neck with one single tie. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought of the pattern and if it was easy enough for you, and share a picture of your scaredy cat in the community post. And until next time, bye!